Right, hi everyone. In today's video, what I wanted to talk about was a bit of a off-topic type of tutorial about how to ask for help in a data science project or even a software engineering project. This is important because a lot more people have asked me to help them out, debug them in their data science project, or just give general guideline. However, I've had varying degree of success because it's sometimes it's quite difficult to help people who don't know how to ask for help effectively, and I've realized that this is not a skill that is taught anywhere. So I thought I would make a tutorial on how to ask for help. So in software engineering and data science in general, the thing with the problem that you face or the issues that you're trying to fix is they are very dependent on what you're doing and how you implemented the stuff. So for instance, if you had trouble with a certain type of analysis, if we don't have enough information, there's literally an infinite amount of things that could have gone wrong. So if you're just asking one-liner question about like, hey, can you help me with X? It's not working. There's not much help that can happen, and then there's a lot of back and forth that get created out of this, which diminish the amount of success in helping someone. So basically, it's in order to ask for help effectively when you have a technical problem in software engineering or data science, is basically three things. The first thing that you need to ensure is that your project, whatever you're working on, is properly documented. Like what tech are you using, why you're doing this stuff, what are you actually trying to get to? Because that thing is the most important part where you can get feedback. If you're trying X and it's convoluted, it's very difficult, it seems that there's always a problem, maybe there's another easier solution that you will have never thought about because you don't have the experience. But if you ask for help effectively with someone with this background information about what you're trying to do in the overarching theme of your project, they will be able to let you know that yes, we could fix this thing that is super complicated, or you can do this other thing which is way simpler and actually do the thing that you're trying to do quite fast. So this is the first step, and surprisingly enough, not a lot of people document their stuff high level enough of details in order to be able to give it to someone and the other person understand it. So I'm not talking about like creating mega documentation, but just like I would say a one pager about what you're actually trying to get to. And this is very useful also when you're asking questions on stuff like Stack Overflow. That will help you a lot get more traction on your post and your questions. Because people will be able to understand the overarching theme of your stuff and give you like some precise road to follow in order to become better. And this, by following these road, this is where you learn about new tech, you learn about new methodology that you couldn't have thought about otherwise. So the second step in order to get help effectively is to have your data analysis or your code in a version control system. This is like very important. The stuff that you're doing is so technical and so detail oriented that if people are not able to see the thing that you've done, the error that you get or the thing that are not working could be because of many different things. So it's very important that you, if you can't show the code because it's proprietary or whatever, make a private repo, copy and paste the gist, the specific part that you're having trouble with. If there's no code, it will be very difficult to help someone with their analysis. If you never used Git before, if you never used GitHub, GitLab, like those version control, those remote repository for version control project, learn how to use them. It will simplify a lot of stuff because then you'll be able to show your code to people. They will be able to give you feedback and let you know exactly where the mistake is. Yeah, this is very important. Like it will be like trying to get help without having the code. Will be like asking someone about to help you unblock you in your writing that you did without giving access to the actual writing. Git, version control, remote repository, do that. That will simplify a lot of stuff, and people will be more engaged. Okay, the last thing, right? So over communicate the issues that you have. For a beginner in data science or software engineering in general, they tend to under communicate where the problem is. For instance, they wrote a big analysis and it doesn't work, and then they will just pick up the last bit and say like, hey, I tried to do PCA and it doesn't work. Why PCA does not work? But there's not enough information here to precisely give any sort of help. Even if you have the code, even if you have the thing, like what does your data look like? Did you run this thing in a JupyterLab notebook? Did you run it in sequence, in Python script? What did you do prior? What is the exact error that you're having? I can have a sample data set so that I can understand if the problem is in the data, in the code, in the way you run the code. This is important. If you're not sure, if you're saying too much, it's much better to say too much. If you are not sure where the problem is, maybe it's your system, maybe I'm using Windows, but the code was also developed in Linux by somebody else, write that. It's easier to sift through more information than to try to do some guesswork about like what could have potentially happened if you don't have all of the pieces of the puzzle. And usually this, by showing this whole information and having the code and the documentation about the higher level team of your project, will allow people to kind of cut through everything that you wrote or said and help you pinpoint that this part of the whole thing that you've told me, this is the problem. It's over here. I think you should do this and that. And don't worry about it. It's a skill to learn. Did the same thing way back in the day when I was trying to figure stuff out. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Worst case, you're not gonna get a lot of traction in the question that you're asking. But yeah, don't hesitate to ask questions. Try to improve how you ask questions and look at what's working, what's not working. One tip I can give you is go into Stack Overflow, look at like the top question over there with a lot of positive interaction in it, and look at how they're structured. And usually you're gonna see they're fairly well structured with the team, the code, even the data if it's in a data science type of Stack Exchange. And this will greatly improve how much velocity you have in your data science project or your software development project. You're gonna get more feedback, you're gonna learn a lot more, and you're gonna get better at the whole thing. That's it, that's the video. If you have questions, don't hesitate to let me know. And if you have a strong opinion about anything I just said, I will be very happy to hear them. So have a fantastic week, everyone.